Well, what a game. What a game. Initial thoughts on it, pretty much exactly what I expected. 32-19, shouldn't have even been 32-19. We could have held them for that last drive, but it's whatever. It was scratch time at that point. However, we may have found the Elijah Mitchell replacement. I do like Elijah Mitchell, but I just, the injuries, if they keep piling up like they have for him, this league will eventually find a replacement. I truly think Jordan Mason is ready for the moment. 147 yards today on 28 carries, more than he's ever actually had in his entire career. So just to see that he can carry that type of game and also finish it with no injuries and actually produce at a high level. I think it was like 6.8 yards per carry, which is really hard numbers to hit. Granted, he had a great offensive line. They were kind of slow on the start, and then they picked it up really well to kind of finish out what was a really dominant game. I think a lot of people thought it might have been close. I really didn't see it. Even with the Christian McCaffrey scratch, it wasn't going to get there. This team was a Super Bowl team last year. They're going to play like it coming out of there. There was a little bit of maybe first game jitters or just not on the same page for the offense, and that's just due to the contract issues that they had and maybe some of the new plays that they had talked about having to plan for with the Jets. I was very proud of the team overall. I think we did pretty good, but I'm going to focus on the defense really quick. However, I just have to say before we move on, Jordan Mason, if he's going to run even 80% of what he's doing right now, it's going to be a very, very hard time for any defense that plays us. So it's good news to see. And Christian McCaffrey, just slow your way back. I don't know how bad your injury really is, but just, if we're going to have this type of production, take your time with it. I want you healthy. Don't want you getting hurt. So do what you got to do. But moving on to the defense, I didn't think it could get better in the sense of I didn't realize what a Hartgrave and Collins would do to the line. I know Hartgrave's production. I know who he is as a player. He's really good. I never really knew Malik Collins. I didn't follow him as well on the Texans. I really didn't follow the Texans, so I didn't really know. However, he is so fast. I mean, he has swim move after move, and it's a nightmare for any line that's going to go against him. He's in the backfield with these guys getting the handoff, and they can't even run left or right. They're stuck. I mean, there was that first quick out, he was the main problem, and then you have Fred Warner behind him just flying through, and if you got Hartgrave, Malik Collins, you got freaking Bosa, it's not going to be easy for any offense to get going. And you could see that today. They were very, very uncomfortable. Aaron Rodgers was really uncomfortable in the pocket. He didn't have a lot of time to throw. Not to mention they were, holding half the time, which, a lot of it doesn't get called. It's whatever. It's part of the game. But, yeah, I'd have to say that the defense really performed at a high level. I am pretty proud of it. I think the pass defense needs to be a little bit better. It's just week one, so we'll let it sink in. But for the most part, I think we did an awesome job. And yeah, overall, the defense really held up today. They couldn't get anything running on the Jets side of the ball. Everybody was uncomfortable. It didn't matter what the situation was. So it's good to see that this defense is thriving. And we still have, people on the injured list that are going to come back and really dominate. I mean, Hufanga, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have forgot how good he actually is. So it's good to see that we have a really deep defense. And then over to the offensive side, honestly, love that we kept it to a run heavy offense. And, thank God for Jordan Mason. I mean, I did not expect a game like that. I knew he had been coming and been really good the last year or so. However, with the talent we had on the running back position, he just didn't get the shine. And I followed a lot of what he was doing during the off season. He was working out with his dad a lot, and he was also working at catching a lot of passes, which he emphasized to the media quite a bit. And I think it showed on that one play that they did for him. And, it wasn't really that easy of a catch. The guy was on him pretty well. So it's really cool to see that. Brock Purdy played a great game. There was a little confusion with a couple of routes, but that's just because they're integrating. It's week one. You can't do much about it. However, love to see it. Can't wait to see more of this. I love that football started. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season for sure. And I will say that, Ayuk didn't get enough time to practice with the team. He was bobbling a little bit. Should have had that pass in the end zone, but it's just like I said, I'm gonna keep repeating it. Week one, he'll get more repetition. Things will be better. He definitely was in shape. Just looked like he had a little bit of jitters out there, and it's expected, especially when you had 7 days to prepare, not even. Trent Williams, though, his position, he just walked right into it, played it like he's never had a problem. It looked like he didn't even sit out. I think he played every possession until the mid of the third, where he had to go to the locker room, probably get taped up or something. Came right back out and just played the rest of the game. Always a stud. But yeah, they really played an overall great game. I mean, from A to Z, just dominated. Juwan Jennings, another underrated wide receiver. I can't believe he doesn't get more looks, because he just dominates, man. He's slippery too. Like, people can't tackle him. And his height is such a difference for these cornerbacks. They can't guard it. I mean, it doesn't matter. You throw it up, he's going to get the ball. Hopefully, it looked like he was a little injured, hobbling around. I know he was dealing with something earlier before the season. Hopefully that didn't affect him in any way. Hopefully we see him next week. One thing I will say, I'm going to just get my little critiques out there. I understand we didn't have McCaffrey, but please don't be running Deebo Samuel as our running back. I can't get behind it. Just because of the raw talent we have at all these positions. He is the player he is, and he's not going to stop being the player he is as far as it goes with, physicality and always being rough. Like, that's him and his mentality. However, you can eliminate him getting smacked behind the line. It's just not for him. 2 or 3 times a game, that's fine. But I don't want to see him ran more than 5 times, from a running back perspective. He comes full speed, just like he always does, with the head of steam, and I just want him healthy. That's the only reason why I'm kind of picky with that, is just avoid that and let him play his wide receiver position. I mean, like I said, 2 or 3 times is fine, but there's no reason to be risking injury, especially with all the talent you have. It's just, I'd rather him play more wide receiver. It's just, that's how I am with that. And man, I just have to talk about this for a second. The rules, the new rules, I don't think the kickoff rule is what it is. I'm not having a huge problem with that, but it's the line calls. It was called 21 times before this game, and I just can't get behind it. I don't understand how the illegal formation is going to get called that many times. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't. It's too much of an emphasis. I don't know what they're trying to do. I know the refs said that they were going to get a big emphasis on it. However, I'm not even sure, like, as a ref, if you're calling that right or not, if that makes sense. It doesn't, there's no way it can be called that much. And even though I'm a Niners fan, we weren't really called for it that much. When I was watching Kansas City versus the Ravens, I swear the Ravens got 7 times. Like, it was called at least 7 times. Absurd. It doesn't need to be called that much. I don't know why they're emphasizing it so much. I think it just needs to stop. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of the new rules. I get the safety point with kickoffs. That's fine. In my book, I believe that, like, they'll probably have a better opportunity receiving the ball to actually get more yardage because it just holds them up a little bit longer. I think there'll be a little bit more holes that open up. So I think we'll see that throughout the year. However, who knows? I just think that may help the receiving team gain more yardage for sure. But man, yeah, the illegal formation, I can't stand it. So hopefully that gets situated before we get into the thick of it. Before the middle of the season, at least. I just hope they handle it a little bit better. I also, like, anyone that's in the chat, let me know, or in the comments, in the chat, that's so funny. In the comments, please let me know. I saw that New York called back what the refs said, and actually, they were going to call a holding, and then they didn't call a holding. I'm going to look this up later. I didn't know New York could do that. Maybe this is something new. I like it because it keeps the refs on edge and actually calls a fair game, but, I didn't read up on any of that. I didn't know that was a real thing. Hopefully that is here to stay because I actually can really appreciate it. It will help a lot of these games that, have came down to the wire and had a really bad missed call the last couple of years. So it would be good to see more of that. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, just wrapping things up. I think the Niners played great. And yeah, week 2 is going to be awesome. Football season's just amazing. I'm glad it's back. And definitely looking forward to what we can do this season. I really hope we get over the hump. We've been knocking on the door for too many damn years. It's time to get it done. And I think this team can definitely do it. I know it's week 1, but I see them going. And yeah, hopefully we can get there. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. I'll be back and we'll be able to talk more about the Niners and, then get going with the Warriors when they start ramping up their season. Any new news, I'll definitely get to you guys on that. But hopefully you all have a great night. Thank you. Peace.